welcome to another Unwinding with Fiber and Fabric. We have been very busy. He's been using the loom over there, and we'll be showing you a little bit of that here in a bit. We also had an exciting Monday where we had a number of younger people coming over to learn about fiber and drop spindle and spinning. We showed them the loom. We gave them each a very rustic drop spindle and taught them a little bit about fiber and spinning. We've also been working on some colorwork projects that we're going to share. And we have been doing some dyeing of fiber in preparation for Spuntober. We sat down, we put together a mood board. For color inspiration.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Very educational too.
Yes. And we picked a lot of the colors he likes. We picked some of the colors I like. In fact, we'll go ahead and show a picture of the mood board. We'll go ahead and start with that. We'll show a picture of the mood boards that we put together. We created using some, AI inspiration images. We created some images that made us think of autumn and the autumns that we've experienced. And of course, focusing on our favorite colors to spin and favorite colors to knit with. And we came up with a palette of 25 colors pulling from the different mood boards that we liked. We know that in October, during Spuntober, we want to make a very Halloween a very Halloween spirited dye project. But we wanted to also, before doing the Halloween specific, we wanted to create, in essence, a countdown, an advent of October, so 31, in essence, colors. Our mood boards, when we combined those, produced 25 really good colors that worked well together. So I pulled about 2 pounds of roving that are in braids. Each braid has 4 ounces or 100 grams. I split each braid into 4 sections, and that ended up giving us 32 when we were done splitting it. Initially, we started with 25. But I expected to have some extra dye because I always use too much dye and have to exhaust the dye.
And for once, everything came clean.
Yeah.
The water was all clear.
I didn't have any extra dye. So after doing that, the next day, I decided I needed a little more yellow. We didn't have enough golden yellow, the golden yellow leaves that we get so much in the fall. I didn't have enough of that tone, so I mixed some of the dyes, the dye powders that I had used in my first 25 to create another 7. So when it's all said and done, I now have 32.
32 individual bundles. Some have some really cool speckling because the dye split a little bit, so you have like a little bit of red spots with green spots with yellow spots.
And so we have 32 colors. What we are thinking of doing is splitting each one of the individual colors into 2 sections, one for him and one for me. That will give us each a 1/2 ounce of each dyed color. We're thinking that for him, he will blend his color with a darker gray. And I will blend mine with a cream or lighter taupe color. So each of us will have 1 ounce or 20 to 25 grams of fiber that we can spin each day of October. That's the idea. So we'll have the same dye colorways, but with a different blended base, because we're using commercially prepared merino roving. And my Tour de Fleece experiments have shown me that I much prefer spinning that when I've blended it with another fiber. In fact, that's one of the color works I'm working on at this moment. It is merino blended with mohair. And I love how the merino, you have the merino softness, but the mohair makes it so the merino isn't as spongy, doesn't stick as much together, a lot lighter. And so we're thinking in the case of the Spuntober, it'll probably be blended, our fiber will be blended with probably CVM, but it might be, I do have a Surrey alpaca that's really nice silver that he might blend with his. So we'll have to wait and see. That will be a surprise for later. Probably not revealed until closer to Spuntober.
Yep.
But today we wanted to show the dyes. We wanted to show the process that we've been doing. Share a little bit of how my process of dyeing. In this dye bath set, I'm using the oven and a bunch of takeaway containers, aluminum takeaway containers that I've been collecting for the last year or so, and reusing them. It's a way to recycle a bit before they go into the aluminum recycle, using them one more time. So we're going to pause for a second and let you see a little montage of the photos from our dyeing process, and we'll be back with you in just a very short moment. Okay, so that is just a quick snapshot arrangement of how I do my dyeing process. I do have videos from the 2020 Tour de Fleece in which I am dyeing my fiber as well. If you go back and you look at the playlist for 2020 Tour de Fleece, you'll probably find a couple videos that show me how I actually put the dye on the fiber. All right, so moving on, as I've done the sneak peek of the color work, let's show the color work. So first color work that we did, I kind of fell in love with the idea of Pacific Knit Company's
Doodle packs.
And I couldn't quite get my daughter excited about them when I showed them to her. She's now excited about them. But when I showed him the doodle packs, he kind of thought they were intriguing. So the first one I did was, of course,
sheepies.
Sheep. And this is just a neck cowl. I like it for the fact that it's big and it's loose. We will show a picture here that shows you how it looks like on me, so I don't have to put this on in front of the camera and mess up my hair. But I really had to do the sheep. There are 2 different sheep in this one. I've seen that there are other sheep that we could be getting, but this is using hand spun. The dark is this chocolate brown is hand spun from Tour de Fleece. So it is hands. Yeah, this year's Tour de Fleece. The others are right. Stuff that was in the stash from and the black.
I think the black is a Tour de Fleece from this year.
No, this is a leftover little ball of yarn I had yes, from somewhere else. And so it's really interesting when you're doing your hand spun and there's a little bit of a thick and a little bit of a thin, or there's some lumpy, bumpy, rustic yarn. I tried to get everything similar gauge, and that helped. I think the black is a little bit smaller gauge. I think we have a cat that's saying hi. You might have to pick up the cat.
Come on. One cat coming right up.
We have Putty saying hello. So when you're working with hand spun and your hand spun's a little on the rustic side, sometimes some of the details kind of fade away. As I definitely discovered with my little fingerless mitts that I'm doing. So I have the first one just ready to weave in the ends. You notice this one looks like a little cat, a black cat. My black fiber, which is, all of this is Tour de Fleece.
Yes, that's the one that was all Tour de Fleece.
So this is all Tour de Fleece this year. And while the gauge is very similar between the purple and the yellow, and the black. The black is actually a little bit finer spun, a little bit skinnier. And so I did discover it's hard to have very crisp detail when your yarn gauge is not quite the same. But after many taking it back and trying, and I have a third one of these that was way too big, I did get the mitten dialed in for me. I decided to go with the fingerless mitts, mainly because it doesn't get that cold here.
Yep.
I love the texture of this. The purple and the yellow are both merino blended with the mohair. The black is a CVM blended with the mohair as well. Absolutely love this. Love the way it's turning out. Love the kitties. Love the doodle packs. I just have to finish the second one. And then I'm done with my, I have done some color work. I have never done motif color work before. So this is a first. I've done color work that's very simple, much like the purple here is just very simple. So following a motif pattern is fun. And I do like the doodle pack. So no, we're not being promoted to do this. It was just something I enjoyed seeing. I thought it would be interesting. There are a number of doodle packs that we both are really drawn to. We may have to get more of them.
Oh yes, probably.
Yeah, I think we'll be getting some more. But it turns out his brain really works well with the motifs, with the grid pattern designs. So I just took motifs they already had and just combined the top, this one and the bottom one are the same, this one in the center, and just repeated. Whereas he, on the other hand, took a couple of their motifs and blended them together.
Actually, it's just one that I've modified a great deal. So the original motif was just this section here. That then I took the moon and turned into a full moon, reversed, and then I took the stars because I needed, in essence, a filler section between my repeats, and I just put the stars as another pattern, and then it just repeats.
So
and ends with stars again.
And he was asking me, he says, well, do you have to look at the chart? Yes, I have to look at the chart every row, and once I get the row started, then I can repeat it, and only occasionally, if I'm watching too much, TV and concentrating, do I have to take it back and start over again. But it seems he doesn't have to watch the chart, that he sees the chart in his head.
Yep, I quickly look at the chart. I get the first row of pattern work done, and now I'm like, okay, I now know how the rest of this is going to go.
So, color work. He's going to be doing some color work for us. He has now been assigned as the color work master. Now I just have to teach him how to actually make a sweater. Yeah, that's
Well, first I have to spin the sweater.
Yes,
yarn.
And we have been at the spinning wheel. I've been at the spinning wheel only briefly. We haven't been at the spinning wheel because he's been doing the weaving, and because we've had the dye work, and because we had some drop spindles. So I did get to the spinning wheel, and did some demonstration. I took some fiber, little leftover pieces, and started spinning that. I probably spun no more than 10 yards of single before I had to stop and show everybody how to work their drop spindles. My husband, he has made drop spindles in the past where he has used nice finished pieces of wood that he goes to, and buys the wood. This time though, I had this idea, and as a wood turner, he doesn't like turning from, what is it, end grain, I think.
That's probably the term.
With the wood turners, they usually will cut a log into 4 sections and then spin from the section, so that you don't have all that pithy center bit. But I've seen wood turners who will turn the log itself. So I had him take some small logs that we had and spin those into drop spindle pieces. And we have a number of pecan trees here on the property, and It is beautiful wood. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what this bowl is. But it is a beautiful, it has a beautiful, what they call spalting color, you know, through it. But it's beautiful, beautiful log, a little branch that had come down. And he made a whole, I didn't even count to see how many. But
more than 6.
More than, definitely. We had 2.
Probably at least a dozen.
Oh, at least a dozen.
If not, maybe close to 15.
Yeah, at least, because I still have, I think, a dozen back there, and I just gave away 6. So what he did is he used the wood, the lathe. He turned the spindles, the whirls, and we had we actually used barbecue skewers, bamboo barbecue skewers for a number of them.
Yep.
He used the wrong bit on some of them, so he did have to add some dowels. They're the only thing that actually had to be purchased, because the barbecue skewers are something that I went to the grocery store one time, probably a couple years ago, and I was like, ooh, shiny, look at this. These could be interesting. They were on sale. It was the end of barbecue season. I grabbed them, weren't sure what we'd ever use them for, you know, and they worked. So we made them, and then I spent a good amount of time. I sat down and got each of the drop spindles. I got a leader put on each one of them, and tested them to see which 6 spun the best.
Yes.
Now, for virtually free spindles, finding the 6 that spun the best, they still spin. And one of the things, by using these and actually getting them all prepped, it really helped me realize, when I first was told about, you know, using a drop spindle, I already had a spinning wheel. I didn't use a drop spindle first. I used a drop spindle afterwards. The drop spindle is what everyone was talking about, because everybody was talking about making them out of, you know, using a CD and putting a dowel in it. And I then really hated the drop spindle based on everything I was seeing. Even the ones we had early made, I didn't enjoy them. My husband made me supported spindles. I kind of liked that a little bit better. And I have purchased a couple really nice and really balanced drop spindles that are a dream to spin on. I still like to use my spinning wheel more.
Yeah.
But the thing with this process and getting ready to demonstrate, I wasn't really planning on teaching. I was planning on just kind of sharing the experience, a very tactile experience with these late teen, early 20-something individuals.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do is just give them a tactile experience, something to try and to see. But when I was preparing all of them, the thing that I realized is that if you take the word drop out of it and just start thinking spindle, and that you're trying to put twist into fiber, all of a sudden the frustration of, can I keep the thing spinning? Does it have enough balance to spin and just keep spinning forever? All of that kind of goes away, because spinning yarn can be done just by twisting the fibers in your hands. And as it turned out, just before I did this, I don't even know what to call this afternoon of fiber fun, I ended up watching a program on spinning that talked about the ancient, they used the word spiritual in the sense of connecting with nature, and how different cultures related to spinning and this and the process of making yarn, making fiber, or making yarn and thread. And I realized, between the process of getting all these drop spindles ready and watching this, that if we remove the word drop and just get into the basics of understanding that we're putting twist in fiber, a lot of spindles do not need to spin like a top. They just need to have an ability for you to twist and twist the yarn. And so it worked out really well, because some of the individuals actually were trying like the drop spindle. Others were just using it like more of a supported spindle that they just had in a supported spindle without a bowl to support it in, just their hand as the support. And everybody was able to get some twist in the yarn. Of course, we picked a good fiber to use for most of them. It was
the
Romney. Yep. And it had just a tiny bit of lanolin still in it. And one of the individuals, rather than really putting twist in it, they felted it. Yeah. And so they had a good piece of yarn, but it was felted. It worked. It still accomplished what they were looking. They accomplished the task of teaching them about fiber.
Yes.
And they got to. I brought in a whole bin of Angora and alpaca, both in fiber and in yarn, and in even a little bit of knitted items. And it was a lot of tactile. So if you think about the activities that people put together for, say, if you had a group of 5 or 6 year olds or 7-year-olds, but doing it for a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds instead, it worked beautifully. And a couple of them were brave enough to try the spinning wheel.
Yep.
I had pencil roving for that, as well as that Romney again that worked really well. And yeah, so, and of course, I'm sure as we're speaking, I may have been sharing a few of the pictures. I like to do that editing. We had fun, and they all
somewhere on here,
or right in front of us. I'm sure it's all been up here, but it was a fun afternoon, and we asked everyone's permission.
Yes.
If we could use the pictures beforehand. We asked their permission, and that was a delight. It was a lot of fun. I didn't wear myself out too much. The cats, some of them did show up to say hi. Others did not. The next day, they all were out cold, exhausted.
Yes.
I will be sure to share those pictures as well. I found them all just wiped out the next day. We were, I felt a little tired the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The cats definitely felt tired. So we had that drop spindle day. It was unexpected. I think I found out that they wanted to come over either on Friday or Saturday. So my husband and
I'm pretty sure I think it was Saturday.
Because I think your dad started making the drop spindles earlier, but then we didn't have a number. We kind of got a little heads up early.
We knew about it like on Wednesday or something.
That there was a possibility. But the confirmation came, and so it was a whirlwind. That's why everything else that we had planned kind of came to a halt for a bit. He did get his loom not only warped, but he started his weaving, and he was able to show the loom to the young people as well. And for those of you that are going to try to comment or mention, yes, the young people are younger than this one.
I know I don't look it, but I actually am older than somebody.
And so yes, for both of us, they are young people. And so we had that. So the only thing we have left is that he did have the weaving. He made sure to get everything set up. He had the loom set up. He had taken managed to get a little bit of it started. The fiber that he's using from Torta Fleece is extremely fine.
Yes, so we're doing essentially double thick of it, going alternate directions.
And doing it double thick to make it go a little bit faster, but it looks fabulous. So we're going to go ahead and put in a little clip right now of him weaving, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I think I'm looking at my list here.
I think we've
talked about the drop spindle day.
Yep, the drop spindle. We've covered the color work, the weaving,
and the dyeing.
We've discussed the dyeing, and I think we've already shown that. So yeah,
I think the one last thing, anticipating questions, is the yarn that he's using. So I talked about the yarn that I'm using. The yarn that he's using is, so this is, he spun this.
This was a couple Tour de Fleeces ago. I think maybe 2021-ish, 2020.
And it is an extremely soft.
It was probably a merino braid, a commercial merino braid that we had received like as a award in a previous something or other. Either way, I know you sent it to me.
But it is softer than straight merino. I have a feeling it probably it's a blend.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I have it on my Ravelry.
On the notes,
I'm not sure though.
But it feels like there's a blend to it.
Yep.
But so that's there. The purple
you hand spun this year.
Just before Tour de Fleece.
Yeah.
A practice spin.
And
I want to actually bring it up close so you can see all the color. It's a purple and red. And then the yellow
wasn't the purple a CVM?
It might be, yeah.
I think it was a CVM. You had dyed it up.
No, it was no. Maybe, I don't remember. It was something that was on hand, and I dyed it up. And the yellow is from ages ago. I spun that in a Tour de Fleece, I think, 4 years ago or something like that.
I'll have to see if the ball has a tag on it or not.
So that's what he's using. It is, it's basically, we went down to the stash and we picked colors that we thought would work. And he wanted to do the moons, which I knew wouldn't show up on this, and you didn't have a whole lot of this left over.
I have this much.
And he's about to start all the decreases for the crown.
Yes.
So it was just a matter of what would be a really good contrast to get those, and I think that turned out really well.
Yeah, because originally I think we were thinking of doing a white, but once you mentioned the purple and then you saw the yellow,
it just made sense.
It really pops.
Yeah. And he's doing very well with his floats. Controlling everything.
First row was a pain figuring out how often do I, rotate the floats essentially.
He's doing better with his floats than me. I'm catching everything because I don't want to get my fingers caught in it.
Yes.
And again, with the fact that this is a smaller gauge, I have to do a lot of tugging as I go to try to keep it from puckering. But it will work just fine.
And learning though, that tip we learned about as far as making sure to have the right size of needle.
Yeah.
Not the gauge of the needle, but having the band.
Yes.
Whatever, the cable, the right length.
Yes.
So that you can have your stitches evenly spread out instead of bunching up.
Because that's what I run into with this, is that I do bunch it up in my hand. But with this one, I figured out if I did not have it on the circular needle cable, if I did not have it on a large enough one, it was bunching and my floats were bunching up. So we learned that with this, and then he adjusted the size for his.
And that's what I discovered, because I discovered, especially with the full moon, I had to undo a couple rows initially, because when it was on the smaller cable, I actually started having my floats come through a lot more.
Yeah.
And so everything just started looking really wonky.
Yeah. Yeah, the floats coming through. Well, I think we covered everything, and we've reached the time.
Yep.
So, I hope that we do... Oh, on the update on the Spuntober, we do have the Facebook.
Facebook is up and running, doing well.
Ravelry's
doing well. And I am almost ready to get a Discord opened up.
Yeah.
It's been a fun learning process, because I've never used Discord from the manager side of it before. So
yes, he's learning a lot on the manager side, the admin side of all of these. And that's really wonderful, and helping out in ways that we had not anticipated. So the last thing I want to say on the Spuntober, other than make sure you invite your friends.
Yes.
It is really a month of whatever you want to do. We are doing a 31-day countdown with plans to do some more dyeing, probably not only to do the really Halloween themed, but we're also thinking of doing the preparation for a Christmas
Advent.
Winter Advent as well, a December Advent.
Doing Christmas colors and then also doing some very nice winter
colors. So you're more than welcome to use our mood boards, our color sheets. You are more than welcome to use those as your inspiration. That's why we're going to be sharing those. We will make sure to put those on the files on Facebook and on Ravelry. We will make sure that they are there so that you can use them if you would like. There are colors that we're thinking of for autumn. And we tried to do them in little different groupings so you could see how you could, instead of taking a whole palette, you could take pieces of the palette and find yarns or find fiber to spin or find, and that's what I'd recommend. We're dyeing all of ours. But you don't need to do that. You could, using it as the palette, then be finding prepared fibers ready to do. You could legitimately take 1.5 pounds of any type of fiber that you like and separate it into little bundles and surprise yourself each day with what you pull out. A lot of the beautiful braids that are out there can have different color variations, and it can be quite a surprise. So it is whatever you want to make it. You don't have to do what we're doing. It's what we're hoping is going to be a fun month in which we're all trying to work on the projects that we kind of keep putting off because other things get in the way, so that we are ready going into the holiday season. Maybe it's a time to wash our fleece, which we will definitely be doing.
Yes, definitely have scouring on the list for Spuntober.
Prepare fleece for upcoming projects. Share our knitting that we're doing, whatever. So we just want to show you what we're planning to do. We want to do an Advent because we think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, especially because I think one of the members on Ravelry, when we first introduced it, proposed the idea of the Christmas Advent, and then I know one of the followers on here then suggested Halloween type fun as well. So it'd be a fun opportunity. And
what we're hoping is everybody then shows what they're doing, and we get more inspiration and have.
And remember, it can be knitting, weaving, spinning, anything that deals with looking at your stash and having fun with it.
All right, well, we will wrap up before this gets any longer, because I think we are now in the longer because we're adding those clips. So we will wrap up, and we will see you again maybe probably another 2 weeks. I think that will work best for our schedule. So until then, happy unwinding with fiber and fabric, and we'll see you again soon.